毒の構成は、まず、ルーンチャームがなくても強いです。
And it's as if his grandma's fan didn't even exist. Poof. Just like that, it's gone. We already have a bunch of stacks on him. Gila's gonna get a huge benefit from this, plus I have a 15% damage bonus from pure power. What's going on, Axie fam? Elijah here, back with another video. And I have one today that I am super hyped for. I am sure most of you have heard that Phase 3 of Origin is here. SLP rewards have been moved over. There's been balance changes. We got a whole bunch of new AXS up for grabs, 60,000 AXS, and this is a milestone, a massive day for Axie Infinity. The season's going to be 30 days long, and what I'm going to be covering today is the build that I believe was the absolute strongest in the alpha season. Talk to one of the people who helped innovate it, which is Mino, and then fast forward to some games that I played today to see how it's doing so far in season 0. I've included one replay from alpha season so you can see this sort of optimized version that we were talking about and how it played, maybe get some ideas from it. And then I'm going to explain how I tweaked things to adjust to not having runes and charms such as Gecko Mask, for instance. So there have been adjustments. I think Poison's still very strong. But before I jump into the video, a couple of quick announcements. For one, I have a Lunacian code. It is code Elijah. Feel free to head over to your account settings and enter that bad boy in the referral code, save the changes, and it'll support my channel every time you buy an Axie on the marketplace. 1% of the fee will get kicked back. So that will be much appreciated. A very cool mechanic that the team has added in. Big thanks to all the people who are out there already using my code. It is much appreciated. Now moving on to the Meditate news, we have acquired 2 of the best players in the game. They were some of the best in V2 and are having an insane start to Origin as well. I'm talking about Yu, who is a V2 legend known for his cute bunny builds. He has joined the squad. And then another player from Japan by the name of Mino was ranked 6th in the last season, placed 24th overall in Origin Alpha. Make sure you follow these guys. It's at Mino_Axie. Show them some love and support. Huge pickups for us. At @U_Gaming Lambo for you. And you're going to want to follow them because they're on the cutting edge of Axie and you kind of want to see what their thoughts are. If you can gain some valuable knowledge from the best and they're willing to post some things about their journey, then in my opinion, it's definitely worth hitting the follow button. Moving into the video, I'm going to cut to some footage that I filmed with Mino, get his thoughts on the build that we're covering today, share a replay from Alpha Season, and then jump forward to some replays from today. It's a jam-packed video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks for all the support. Love you. It's a new chapter, and without further ado, let's go ahead and head over into the Mino footage. Joining me is one of the newest pros to Meditate Esports. I'm talking about none other than Mino from Japan. And to be honest with you, the first time I faced his comp, my initial feeling was that I was facing the strongest composition in the game, and that's the one that we're going to talk about today. Without further ado, welcome to the channel, Mino. How are you doing?
調子はいいです。アクシーインフィニティを始めて、思い描いて、ちょっと妄想して思い描いてたことがどんどん実現できてて、で、エライジャーさんの動画なんてずっと見てて、で、こうやって話せることがもう夢のようです。はい。
That's really nice to hear, man. I'm just grateful that you're part of Meditate now and you're on the team and we can be teammates and I don't have to worry about facing you as an opposing guild in the arena. A huge pickup. Really happy to have you here, and it's very flattering to hear that you watched the channel on the way. I want to start to ask you about this amazing team that you were running during the alpha season. And I think in the off season, you pushed up to rank 5 on the leaderboard. You finished rank 24. So we have Mino, we have you. And the reason I want to bring up you here, he taught you a lot, right? Mino, in terms of your growth in Axie?
もう本当に大きいですね。ユウさんがブリードした個体が、ユウさんしかその毒の個体は、存在しなかったんですよ。この完璧な個体は。それをユウさんがブリードしてくれて、で、自分が同じルーンをたまたま引けたことから、こ 今回のシーズンの結果がついてきたと思って。
Yeah, you was the first one that I ran into in the arena, and I saw something like this. I was like, what the heck am I up against? So yeah, it was pretty incredible the first time I faced it and saw the power. And why don't we just go ahead and jump into it? Mino, what are your thoughts here on this team that you were running? I know yours was quite similar. I think you just have Rosebud at the mid instead of Scaly Spoon, and you also have Poison Touch on the back line and Malediction at the mid, which are really, really powerful runes. But let's leave the runes out of it since we're starting a fresh season. Why don't you just tell me what it is here that makes this so strong?
はい。じゃあ、まず、毒の強みを話していきます。一つ目は、月光とタイニータートルを最もうまく利用できるチームであること。二つ目は、シンプルにカードのスタッツが高いこと。三つ目は、毒殺した時に、相手が次に引く手札を失わせること。で、この3つ目がかなりでかかったんですけど、これがちょっと修正が入ってしまいました。で、次に月光の説明もしちゃおうかな。月光は味方の行動阻害や状態以上のデバフを解除しつつ、自身の HP を分け与える効果があり、これはデバフが多いオリジンにおいて非常に強力。で、タイニータートルによる自身へのスタンも解除できる。で、月光で減らした HP はグリーンソーンやスモールフリルで回復することもできるので、もうすべてのカードのバリューをお互いが補完し合うっていう。で、タイニータートルは毒を機能させるために非常に重要で、相手の手札事故を誘って、試合を間延びさせることができる。で、これらのシステムはもともとユウさんが独自にブリードしていて、このシステムがあったから私は今の構築にたどり着くことができたという感じですね。
Completely agree. The way you're able to maintain your team throughout and balance things and get rid of debuffs and stay healthy is insane. On top of that, you have ridiculous damage as a closing ability here in Gila. Sometimes can even use in the mid game. It's been super fun to play this comp. I actually went 80 and 30. So 80 wins, 30 losses with this. It's like a 73% win rate, I think, around there, which is kind of insane for being in Challenger in Origin. It was in the off season, but people were still playing competitively to farm moon shards. And I've just had a blast with it. I'm really excited to theory craft more with you, Mino. And I just thank you and also the other you, the Japanese player, for the insight into this team. How do you think that this type of composition is going to perform heading into season 0?
毒の構成は、まず、ルーンチャームがなくても強いです。なので、シーズン序盤、猛威を振ることになると思ってます。はい。で、ただ、相手の手札を殺すっていう能力が非常に高かったんですけど、それがなくなってしまって、でもそれでも、完成された毒パなら、100位以内はいけると思ってるんですけど、トップ10になるとちょっと厳しくなってくるかなっていう印象ですね。
Right. I guess we're just gonna have to see, because there's a lot we don't know at this point.
そうですね。毒について言いたいこと。自分のチームに関してなら言えると思ってて、で、自分のチームから、とりあえず、このオリジンってゲームは、ルーンを中心に考えるのが正解で、そのルーンとかチャームをその時に強いルーンやチャームを最大限に活かすビルドを考える必要があって、それに毒は非常にマッチしていた。
Right. That makes a lot of sense. So it's basically like, don't just go do poison for the sake of it. Maybe adapt into what you end up farming, because you might be able to more rapidly build a very strong team. If you get bloodlust, you don't want to go play poison. You want to utilize the bloodlust. So just keep that in mind. That's great advice, Mino. Thank you for pointing that out. And I just can't wait to see what you come up with this season. Can't wait to talk more. Can't wait to theory craft more. On that note, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to jump into this replay really quickly. Yeah, Mino, thanks so much for coming on the channel. Any closing thoughts?
呼んでくれて本当にありがとうございます。このアクシーの話についてはもう何時間でも語れるので、これからもいろいろ話してみたいです。ありがとう、エライジャ。バイバイ。
Thanks. Bye, Mino. Talk to you later. So now I'm going to review a game really quickly that I played against an AoE team so I can showcase some of these things that Mino and I just discussed, specifically the gecko eyes and why they're so strong, especially on all three of your Axies. You might think that that's a bit too much of gecko, but it's not. And here we're going to see why. So I do get the good fortune of going first. Of course, I'm going to play poison here. Tiny Turtle is tempting, but given that he only has 2 energy in the next round, I think immediately stacking poison is the preferred play. So that's what I do. And of course, with Grandma's Fan, he's going to throw it out there. Now, if you're an AoE player playing against this particular poison build, you may consider not playing Grandma's Fan sometimes because your energy might be better spent on other cards. There, he didn't have that many good plays, so I get why he did it. But check this out. We get the dream draw in the second round, 2 geckos, 2 poisons. There's one of them which removes the vulnerable on my backline and frontline Axie. And then I also have my frontliner that's going to play it just to keep my midline clean. And it's as if his Grandma's Fan didn't even exist. Poof. Just like that, it's gone. We're playing Green Thorns. We're playing Small Frill. 7, 7, 11 on the poison. This is getting pretty out of hand already for him. 33, 21, 21, I believe is what I saw across the board. Now, his team does have a lot of firepower. I am not out of the woods yet. Energy Guru does extra damage. Every time he plays a card, he's got Bloodlust to heal up. So this midliner is going to stay extremely healthy. And you can see my front line is already down to 118 HP. He still has a bunch of health across all Axies. Now here we go. I've got a nice moon stamp on that midliner. I can stun his Aqua, which is a very dangerous Axie. Probably his most dangerous Axie, given that it has Bloodlust, Nemo, a lot of cards that I want to deny value to as well. And you guys should know by now, see poison, play poison, and then I'm going to go with the Gecko as well. I need to buy time. That's the name of the game here with this. Wall Gecko and Gecko Mask, it's so important to have. I do think this will all still be fairly strong, especially in the beginning of the season, but once you can spruce it up with the right runes and charms, this is where you get true manipulation. All that damage went into my backline. It's still alive. We're still doing okay. Triple poison, going for it. Oh, actually, Gila, and here's why. It's always a bit of a toss-up here when you have 3 poisons or Gila, but the damage on this, when he already has so many stacks, is too good to pass up on, as you're about to see. Look how angry this Axie looks. He's going to go absolutely nuts here, and we should be hitting upwards of 100 damage on some of these, and let's let it ride. 83, 97, and to be honest with you, a lot of my matches with this comp end with the Gila Sledgehammer to close it out. That was the Gila mid-game Sledgehammer, but oftentimes it does bail me out in the late game. I lose my backline, but I still think that playing the Gecko there and getting the value, buying time was worth it. Very close match, as we can see. Now he's got that tanky Aqua up front that has stayed in great shape this whole time. Now here, I think I'm a little concerned about this frontliner. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see myself play the damage to start to whittle away at it instead of the shield. Let's take a look. I imagine I do double Small Frill Watermelon. Okay, he's down to 198. And this bird will die, not this turn, but the next. And this is where we can see as the late stages approach, he's swimming, he's drowning in purple poison ticks. And now I just have 184 health. All 3 Axies still alive. And he slaps me with the Piranha. I have bleed on me. I have to make something happen here. Do I get the Gila? I do. And now it's a tricky spot because Gila will kill his midline, his backline, which lets him fully draw on the front. Now, normally Gila would be great in the late game, but because in the alpha season, poison made your opponent lose cards when they died from it. Basically, you would draw your hand and then die, and your hand would deteriorate. I might skip playing the Gila here. We definitely want to shield up, and we're just going to do maximum shield and then the tiny turtle at the mid. And this is really going to screw up his entire draw because 2 Axies are going to die, and I have 132 HP. Now here, I believe my opponent makes a pretty big blunder and actually plays these 2 attack cards, which is going to do damage to himself. Big mistake. And this is going to let me pull out the win just barely. I think I do get a Gila Sledgehammer here. Boom, 100 damage. And just imagine that 100 damage across 3 Axies, because that's oftentimes how my games go. But the poison's going to finish him off. We're going to book the win. And that's all she wrote for that game. Okay, so now that we've looked at the poison build when it's optimized with Gecko Mask and charms, I'm going to dive into what I've changed today since Season 0 came out, and also let you know how this has been performing. Now, in that last replay, you heard me talk about the Gila Sledgehammer and how it normally wins me games, and I'm really happy that I'll get to showcase that here in a second. All my replays from Alpha Season got wiped out. I was going to use some of those, but hey, doesn't matter anymore because we're in season 0. As far as its performance, this poison build is off to a great start. I've played 21 games, I've won 15, I have lost 6, which works out to be over a 70% win rate, and in Axie Infinity that is very high. Even in such a short amount of games, we managed to push up to top 500-ish range, have since dropped a few hundred because I was away from the keyboard, but I'm going to be getting back to the grind right after this video, make no mistake about it. So what have I changed in the comp? Well, initially I was still playing the Gecko. I thought, hey, maybe I'll just play the exact same team, but what I'll do is I'll switch the backliner, put him at the mid. Maybe sometimes the Gecko comes in handy, like before the frontliner dies, I can play the Gecko, get the damage reduction, heal up with some poison, and then I put my Gila on the backline. I started to run into some problems with that, and that's where I made the switch. Luckily enough, I've got you, I've got Mino. These guys can help supply me with some crazy poison Axies. So I went with the double Gila, and I think that was the right play. But bear in mind, if you don't have 2 Gila Axies, you can always do this with maybe one with Tiny Dino, maybe a random Gecko. But what's important is that you do want to have small frill green thorns on your back, your mid, and your front, and ideally Yam on the front as well. So you can adjust this. Maybe you don't have Tiny Turtle across all of them. That's fine. You know, on your way up, I think that poison variations are going to be very strong. So this is the new Axie that you didn't get to see in the last game, and he's just spot on. I mean, great moveset. The tricky's kind of random, but right now having a little extra healing isn't really the worst thing ever because these two have to kind of clutch it out in the late game. I managed to get some pure power on these already, which is going to help the Gila damage, and then up front, leftover potion, just putting health on here. We're going to notice one thing that happened in this replay. I accidentally threw some healing stats on Small Frill and Green Thorns because it was like the first thing that I got. I was like, oh, whatever, I'll just throw these on here, which I didn't get to see that interaction in alpha because I just wanted to max out my HP. But what I've noticed is that that actually will heal your opponent because Small Frill gets played onto your opponent. You're gonna see this happen, which is kind of funny. Just make sure you don't do that. Don't make that mistake. Never put healing stats on your poison skills. Without further ado, let's jump into the game that I played today. Now I am over here on the right-hand side. I'm up against a very aggressive build. We've got an aqua plant bird composition. Name of the game for me is pretty simple. I'm gonna play my poison cards, try and stack as fast as possible. Of course, here the simple play is Tiny Turtle with Green Thorns. We get the stun and we start to put 6 on the back, 4 on the front. That's 18 and 12 damage, and the stun was magnificent. Basically a missed round for our opponent. There's the power of Tiny Turtle coming in clutch. Green Thorns again, Small Frill as well. That's basically it for us, fairly straightforward. And the reason I chose this replay, and I have quite a few that have a similar tone, is really to showcase that Gila. Such a sweet card, and now I have the opportunity to play it even more frequently at the mid, at the back, which is great because in this case here, as you can see, we already have a bunch of stacks on him. Gila's gonna get a huge benefit from this, plus I have a 15% damage bonus from pure power. I'm skipping the Green Thorns there. It's exactly 70 on the back line. And then the poison on top of it just drops this health. All the HP bars are falling rapidly. He's still having a hard time getting through my front line. Things are going very nicely for us here. Granted, he does have a lot of firepower. We're not out of the woods. He plays the Mavis, but here we go again. The beauty of AoE. Another Gila falls into our hand, and we've got a really nice lineup for a Tiny Turtle. Once again, getting that stun, followed by Gila Sledgehammer. Boom, there you go. And this guy is getting depleted. I don't know how he's gonna make it past this. The poison drops on top of it. You can see the type of pressure that this is going to put on your opponent. We're on turn 9. Almost all of his Axies are dead. You're asking me if poison is still good. Well, the answer is right here in front of you. You can see the destruction that is happening. Hey, guess what? Why don't we just draw another Gila? We have it twice. Let's play Small Frill. Let's play Gila. Let's kill 2 of his Axies. His frontliner has basically nothing left anyway. His frontliner's down to 31 HP, 27 from the poison. He's got 4 health. There's nothing this guy can do. I got 2 really beefy Axies still alive. He will get rid of my midliner, but when you have 4 HP and no shield and no way to heal, that's it. There's nothing you can do. You will get to see the funny little Green Thorns having 4 health on it. It heals him up to 24 HP, which I'm glad that that happened because I saw very clearly that, you know, that was a mistake. and I quickly removed that healing off of Green Thorns. We get the W. And that's the power of Gila, especially when you have it twice. Now, my teammate Mino, who was playing this all during the alpha season, is already in the top 100. Last time I checked, he was around 40. Now he's at 35. The guy is a monster. I hope to join him very soon. I've got some work to do, but I'm ready to put the time in. I hope you guys are too. And remember that a lot of this will come down to what you end up grabbing from your crafting. For me, for instance, I already hit a bubble paste, which is an amazing charm. This with Heart of the Ocean is absolutely insane. You end up getting that big AoE damage so quickly. Heart of the Ocean does 40 damage across all your opponent's Axies. I know it says 20 damage here, but it's actually 40. So I'm hoping to pull this down the line. But definitely for now, sticking with Poison. Also hoping to get that Poison Touch or Malediction. That would be insane. Good luck to you guys on your climb. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a long one. Let me know what composition you want to see next. I'll cover something else for sure since I've done Poison the last 2 videos. Can't wait to see you all on the leaderboard or in the arena. Huge milestone for Axie. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.